Inside the Head of Emotional Chaos and How to Live with It. Written by Nate M Riverland. Released 2024. Chapter 2. Childhood. Yeah, I thought I would write something about my childhood. It all started there somehow, I guess. But I do not know how right now. But maybe by start writing about it I will figure some out. And I will keep all my writing until the end, if it ever will be something out of all of this gots. We will see. But everything will stay so you could follow my gots. That is what all this is about really. Sharing my gots. I did not think this would be hard to write about. It is not as burning water that I already have written but comes in a later chapter. That was emotional hard, but this is more difficult because I do not know what really shaped me. Is it incidents? Or is it more environment in total? I do remember for instance that my father could be very angry in some situations. You know that scary angry. You do not know what will happen angry. Maybe this is sort of my truth. It is hard for a kid to understand everything around it. But the feeling is the same still. One evening when we was going to watch a movie and the DVD did not work, he took the disc in the hands and broke it. It was sharp on the edges so he hurt a finger. I remember my mom batched it up. Then it got a few minutes and you got the storm was over but then he took the DVD player and threw it in the floor. That was not the first or last time things like that happen. When I was a teenager I started to write. Not a diary but I wrote when I needed to. Little like writing this piece. Sadly though, I throw it in the garbages because I was paranoid. Still am a bit. And I did not want anyone to read it other than me of course. Now I would want to read it. Well. I do remember writing that I was scared of my father. Scared. And I also remember that that is something. Being afraid of my own father. Do not get me wrong. I had a good childhood. Got spoiled and everything, little too much. But I would have changed that for balance and real caring love if I could. Instead I sort of walked on eggshells. Trying to please. Be the good little daughter. What does that even mean, being the good little daughter? Be pretty. Behave as expected. Being normal, but just a little bit stand out in a good way. Be good in school and study well. Be fit. And have a hobby. Be grateful. And somewhere in there try to figure out who you really are. Be true to yourself was nothing that was a possibility or something to find out about. This picture of expectations is not easy to fulfill. And the stress will get out somehow. And it will have some sort of, well, damages is a strong word, but impact. Looking back, mine was a big insecurity in how to be. What was expected? Did I do good enough? I am not good at this. How could I do good anyway? Could we not look at my strengths instead? I remember I was supposed to study in my room or somewhere on my own and I did not need to help at home with things like the dishes and stuff. It was more important to study. No, it is not. A balance of everything is the important key. That, I could of course not say back then. I did not know the answer or it neither was my place to know so much about life. But now it is so obvious the impact from that. I have problems to take care of my home. It does not come natural for me at all. It takes so much energy to clean, vacuum and laundry. I hate it. And I hate that I hate it. If I just get started it is okay, but to start. So naturally I do not start so often, and therefore it will be so much at the same time later when I do start. Back to that I was supposed to study. That was not my best side. I am not good at that. Little ironic considering how much time I have given it in my life. So I spent a lot of time with the books open trying to read. But my head was somewhere else. I do not remember where but that they were. Is that not an interesting observation? Is it so with others also? I remember situations especially with great emotions in them easily, but what I was thinking somewhere sometime I do not that often remember. Therefore I do not remember what I exactly said somewhere or told someone. Not the exact words. But mine or the other's feeling I do remember well. This must differ between people. That would explain a lot. But why do we differ there? I will not speculate about that here. Not right now at least. So, back again to when I studied. I did instead go into my head. What does that mean, one could ask? Well, in that age with no logical road map around you in your daily life made me very confused. Not that I got of it like that in that time, but now looking back I can say that. And frustrated. I started to live in my own fantasies. Like what sort of life I would have later. Longing for something else. Longing to really live. Not being with my books. But it was not only books in my life, of course. I had a horse. That was good. That became my life, and where my head would go when my books did not make sense. So in a young age I learned to be in my thoughts. And by doing so I felt not so alone. I became comfortable around myself. To talk to myself in my mind, sort of. To reason with myself, as I did not actually have anyone else to do that with. And when I figure out the roles in this game I remember me actually think, wait, this is good. I like it in here. And I started to go in my head even at evenings before falling asleep. And this did that I could stay awake long in the nights, active with my thoughts. Sometimes trying to figure out answers about situations that occurred, or sometimes fantasize about my life when getting older. This of course made me tired on the days. Now we are somewhere around me being 16 maybe. I liked that I was not my best in school. I sort of hoped that people would notice. A scream of help. I was not happy. But of course that was not giving the result I yearned for. And in my second year in the gymnasium I struggled. I partied every weekend, drank a lot. Smoked. John Silver. God, I miss it. Not the drinking part though. Absolute vodka with Vicks Blue was a favorite. But whatever did it for me back then. The alcohol helped me let out my feelings. I could react instead of do what was expected. I had a lot of fun. I cried a lot, also frustrated. One time when my father got angry because it was absurd of me to ask my mother to drive me and my friend to a place I got for a walk. I was out for like 1 hour. Just like my father could do when he got angry sometimes. I remember me being so angry at him for being angry at me for just asking a question. And by take that walk I could for the first time in near time after a situation like this actually react. That felt good. And I felt better afterwards. I had like 2 more years of this, and I will manage, then I would move out. But when I got home my father came at me strict still and black behind his eyes and asked me if I did not want to live here. What should I say? No. Then he would have kicked me out. At least it felt so, and his intention was that I should feel so. Like he was threatening me to feel grateful to have a home and not live on the streets. So I answered, of course not, I just wanted to take a walk. Is that not okay? And he had nothing more to say. This gave me insight about that even if I have a solution for my feelings, a walk, and think it would not be good before I moved out really. Or that was what I got. It became a little better my last year at home. What made me really confused was when it was a little better the last year. I had realized I needed my grades good so I could get into the university I wanted to, so I could get CSN money loan and move and know what I would do for a few years. I was supposed to study one evening, and I did not want to. I think there was something I got was more important I first wanted to do. And I could not stop myself. I took the book and smashed it in the kitchen table hard. Really hard. Then walked away. I thought of course hell would break loose. But I was ready for the fight. I got adrenaline and would stand my ground that I do decide over my own life. But no, that did not happen. Instead he said it was good that I spoke up. Okay. Okay. Wait, what? It is good to level up that much and scream at your father. Yes, I do think it was good. I had had enough. But I should not have to. Anyway. This got me confused to say the least. But, you know, also good because he said I did that right. So I was, well yeah, confused when moving out. I should speak up but also please at all costs. It did take time to figure out after this start of life who I really am. Was I someone underneath it all? Or I should just make me up the one me I wanted me to be. Like I did when I was 15. I was a bit quiet and observing sort of person. And I saw that people that was more extroverted got more attention, and also more their own ways. So I started to try to copy their behavior. And I remember me active doing this choice. It was very easy to be more extroverted. And now I can see the connection that why it was so easy could be that I have been more so when I was little, but it was not appreciated back then, so I had toned it down a lot. I have not talked a lot about my mother here. She had not a big role in making family decisions. When writing that, I remember a conversation around the kitchen table. It was about, according to my father, that it will naturally always be an alpha and a beta in a family. And my mother was the beta and father the alpha. And that is why it works good. It did not work good. Not how I feel about it. My mom's thoughts and feelings did not come up. At all, really. My father's words was the truth. Or at least I got so. And I believe it is often so that kids think their parents have all the answers. The statements becomes your truth and can therefore easily become your facts. My mother and father did almost never show any affections towards each other. And not really show love to me and my brother. At least not in words or hugs or so. I do not remember me telling them I love them at any time under my life. These words feel so strange. I love you. Well, in Swedish they feel strange. Jag älskar dig. I have problems saying that even if I do feel so about someone. But that make my next thought very interesting. So if I do say I love you to someone, I really mean it. Because otherwise I would not say it. I would not feel comfortable saying it if I do not big-heartedly really mean it. I do not throw it to someone just like that. But when got past that stage and it is acknowledged, then I can say it more and appreciate that I can give all of my heart to someone, like in a relationship. To friends, if I love them, I got more like dear friend when talking to them, so they know how I feel even if I do not say it more than that. But I feel they know how important they are for me and how I care about them and always have their backs. My dogs instead do hear a lot of I love you. I love all 5 of them deeply. Of course. And by telling them will not make them react different to me, so I can really be myself with them. I have a lot of love to give. Maybe because I never find a good way around affection as young and a longing for love and friends and families. So I need a lot of it today. Because I am afraid otherwise love will be gone in my life. And that is not a life I would want to live. To be continued.